So it might look like we're jumping on a bandwagon here, and okay, maybe we are just a little bit, but I'd like to remind you all that I've been all about the Negroni and its many variations, including a certain Prosecco-based one, for quite some time now. But the current craze about the Negroni Sbagliato did remind me that I've been remiss in uploading videos about that and a couple of other of my favourite twists on this bittersweet classic, so no time like the present. And if it earns me some brownie points with Gen Z, then so be it. Make sure you stick around to the end and see the drink of the moment. We are partnering once again with the guys at Tipsy for today's video. I'm really excited about working with them because they're an online alcohol site and they carry a lot of harder to find, more sort of craft brands and some more niche cocktail ingredients in their really wide range of spirits and wines. And I know that you guys in the States sometimes say that you struggle to find things that I use in the videos, so hopefully you're in one of the 37 states that Tipsy delivers to and it will increase your options. Today I'm going to be using Tromba Tequila, Yellow Rose Rye, and the one that gave me the idea for the theme of this video, which is the Hotel Starlino Vermouth. And they do have Campari and dry vermouth on there as well, so they can sort you out entirely for any of these that you want to try. I think the reason that I love Negroni type drinks so much is that they're just like a really clear example of a cocktail template where ingredients can be switched in and out to create something equally delicious but totally different. So if you're not a gin fan or maybe just like things a little bit on the drier side, hopefully one of these will hit the spot for you. Given the slow adoption of tequila outside of Mexico, it's probably not surprising to learn that the Rosita is a reasonably modern classic. It seems to have first appeared in the 1980s, but it was made popular by bartender legend Gaz Reagan in his 1991 book, The Bartender's Bible. Often referred to as a tequila Negroni. It's not 100% accurate because it does play with the proportions a little bit, so rather than that equal parts that we know and love in the Negroni. And then it also uses a split of sweet and dry vermouth plus a little dash of bitters. So all in all, it's just a really complex and spicy version, which I'd honestly forgotten about for a minute, and so was very happy to rediscover recently. So for this one, we're going to use Reposado tequila. So it has spent a little bit of time in a barrel. So you do just get that little bit of kind of roundness and richness from that and like a really nice kind of vanilla note. I was actually pretty happy when the guys at Tipsy suggested that I use Tromba because it's actually owned by some Melbourne-based bartenders who kind of work with partners in Mexico to just create like a really good versatile cocktail tequila. So this is actually usually what we house pour at Bomba as well. So I'm going to go in with 45 mils of that one. Then 15 mils of our Hotel Starlino Rosso. So nice like big bold Italian vermouth here. These are all quite nice variations if it's a little bit wintry where you guys are, because they're all kind of a bit rounder and richer. 15 mils of our dry vermouth, so yeah, just kind of whatever you usually use for your martinis and things will absolutely work. 15 mils of Campari. And then just one big dash of Angostura bitters, and those kind of woody spices really just bring it all together and work really nicely with the spicy tequila as well. So we're just going to prep a little lemon twist for this one. You could absolutely use orange as well. I just kind of like, you know, you do get some really nice quite citrusy notes from both of the vermouths and the tequila in there. So just keeps it nice and kind of like light and fresh. Up to you, you can give that a little tidy if you like, but I usually kind of keep all my Negronis pretty rustic if you're serving it on a big block anyway. I just keep the twist as is. Right, so just fill your little mixing glass nice and full with ice there, and then just give it a little stir. Then we're just gonna strain that over a nice big ice block. Give your twist a little scrunch over the top to get all those lovely citrus oils happening. And then give it a little twist and pop it in. So give this a little taste. It's really lovely, obviously having you know, that kind of higher tequila content in there. It does really shine, and yeah, it just has like this really lovely kind of mouthfeel, and all of the sweet, bitter, spicy, dry bits are kind of working together just to make it, yeah, it's just a banger, really. And there we have a Rosita. Now, those of you who are more whiskey people might be familiar with a Boulevardier, where the gin in a Negroni is swapped for rye whiskey, but this variation goes one step further and also swaps out the sweet vermouth for dry. This was invented by Harry McElhone of Harry's New York Bar in Paris, inspired by an old pal of his, hence the name. I do have to say though, the original formula is very dry, to the point of being like a little bit spiky in my opinion. So I tend to take actually some inspiration from the Rosita and sort of split the difference with a little splash of a richer vermouth as well. So if you have like a Bianco or Blanco vermouth, that would absolutely work well here too, just to soften out the edges. As it is, I'm using obviously the Hotel Starlino, so I'm just gonna go in a little 5 to 10 mils of that as well. So for this one, we're going to go in with a full shot of your Yellow Rose Rye. So this one is quite a high rye content bourbon, so really nice and spicy, but also has kind of had, I think, enough time in the barrel there to really like round out any rough edges. So it's nice and it's got a really nice sweetness as well. So just pretty well balanced and good for this drink. Then we're going to go in with 30 mils of Campari. 20 mils of your dry vermouth, and then sort of a 5 to 10 mils of your sweeter vermouth, obviously kind of depending on your own palate and also what vermouth you're using. This guy's a pretty like big, robust and kind of quite sweet one. It's actually aged in bourbon barrels, so it gets quite a lot of that vanilla as well, so just like literally 5 mils is plenty. Then we're just gonna fill our mixing glass with ice and get stirring. So this one generally gets served up in a little coupe glass, so something a little bit different. And then we're just gonna give our twist a little fold over the top. Again, going with lemon here, you could absolutely use orange as well if you want to go for that kind of warmer citrus note, but I just actually find that lemon works really nicely with rye, so. There we have your old pal. Let's have a little try of this. It's such a nice kind of difference. So yeah, obviously I do drink a lot of Boulevardiers, and this is one that I kind of forget about. It's just that little bit lesser known, I suppose. But it's actually just quite elegant. Obviously Negronis and those kind of big, like, you know, using a lot of kind of bigger, bolder vermouths and Campari and everything, they're generally pretty full on. Whereas having that kind of more delicate dry vermouth in there just really kind of highlights a really lovely herbal edge to it. Yeah, so definitely a nice one to have a little try if you're looking for something a little bit different. Now, I know I've been called a hipster before, and it's probably fair given that I do have tattoos and pretty strong opinions about coffee, but I genuinely did like the Negroni Sbagliato before it was cool. It's essentially a turbocharged Americano, and what's not to like about that? It gets its name from the Italian word for mistake or broken, because apparently a hapless bartender once grabbed a bottle of Prosecco instead of gin when making a Negroni, and the rest was fairly uneventful history until Emma Darcy breathed fire back into it. Get it? So for this one, it's just really simple. So 30 mils of your sweet vermouth, 30 mils of Campari, and topped with Prosecco. I'm just gonna build this right into my glass. We just cut a nice wedge of orange so we're prepared as well. I haven't used one of these bottle openers in a very long time. There we go. So yeah, generally you want to go to about halfway up the glass. It obviously depends how big your glass is. Don't go overboard. You know, you do want, you know, you do more Prosecco than you do of the other two, but you're not gonna want to kind of completely drown them out. Then we get your orange wedge in here. And there we have a Negroni Sbagliato. I mean, look, she has good taste. It's just so like bright and bubbly. The kind of acid in the Prosecco sort of really like livens up those heavier flavors of the Campari and the sweet vermouth. But yeah, definitely a little bit dangerous. As I said, it's pretty turbocharged really, so maybe just 1 or 2 is enough, but delicious. So there we have some Negroni adjacent options for you if you like to embrace the bitter side but are not a big gin fan or just fancy a change. Thank you again to Tipsy. They do offer free shipping over $99, so don't hold back. And let me know, did I miss anything out that you think should be included? 3 great alternatives to a Negroni, so now you know.